Hello everyone, welcome to the Wildflower Pages Yoga. My name's Paige and today we're going to do a 45-minute practice that will stretch your body, your arms and your legs, your shoulders and your hips if you've spent all day working on your feet or in a seated position. I'm out in nature today, so you might hear some cars go past, some people talking, or perhaps see some mozzies or other insects join me with my practice. So when you're ready, just take a seat on your mat and let's get started. So today we're going to start our practice in a kneeling position. So sitting your seat bones on your heels, take your knees a little more than hip distance wide. And then just bringing the spine into an extended position, reaching to the sky through the crown of the head on the inhale. Exhaling through the mouth. And then bringing your hands onto your belly to just begin the practice, bringing some awareness to the breath. So you can close down the eyes if you feel safe to do so. And then from here, just bringing your awareness to notice how your breath is flowing into your lungs and how it's leaving your lungs. Not changing anything here, just simply noticing. And then we're going to begin to breathe in and out our nose, working on finding an even length of inhalation and exhalation. You can choose whatever count of breath works for you. Perhaps that's the count of 3 or 4, maybe longer, maybe shorter, depending on your own lung capacity. So breathing in through the nose, exhaling through the nose, inhaling and exhaling. Beginning our complete breathing practice to ground ourselves in our bodies. We're going to inhale through the nose, drawing that breath all the way down into the belly, feeling the belly balloon out. And then exhaling, releasing the belly, letting it draw back towards the spine naturally. On your next inhalation, drawing the first half of the breath down into the belly and the second half up into the rib cage. And then exhaling, releasing first from the rib cage and then the belly. On your next inhalation, drawing the first third of the breath down into the belly, feeling it balloon out with your hands. The second third up into the rib cage, feeling the ribs expand outwards. And then the final third up into the chest, feeling the chest rise, not overfilling your lungs. And then exhaling, releasing first from the chest, the rib cage, and then the belly. Continuing with this flow of breath, prana, energy into the lungs, breathing in, filling the belly, all the way to the chest. And then exhaling from the chest, the rib cage, and then the belly. Moving with your own breath at your own pace for a few more rounds. And then continuing with this breath throughout the practice. On your next inhalation, just releasing the hands to the knees, drawing the crown of the head towards the sky. And then as you exhale, we're going to take a twist. So taking your right hand to the base of the spine, the left hand to the right knee, growing tall on the inhalation. As you exhale, turning the gaze to look over your right shoulder. With this twist, as you inhale, growing taller through the spine, exhaling, moving into the twist a little deeper. Remembering this is your practice, so respect your own body limits here. If you ever feel any pain or discomfort, come out of the pose slightly. Breathing in, growing taller. Exhaling, twisting a little deeper. Preparing to complete on your next exhalation, finding your depth in this twist. And then inhaling, gently releasing, coming back to center, switching the hands over, taking the left hand to the base of the spine, this time right hand to left knee. Inhaling, growing tall through the crown of the head. Exhaling, turning the gaze to look over that left shoulder. As you hold here in this asana, this twist, with each exhalation, can you find a little more depth in the pose, working with your body as it opens naturally into the position. Inhaling, growing tall. Exhaling, preparing to complete, finding your depth here in this pose. Gently releasing on your next inhalation, coming back to center. And then from here, we're going to take a slight back bend. So taking both hands to the base of the seat bones here, probably coming up onto the fingertips to help extend through the spine. Inhaling, growing tall through the crown of the head. Exhaling, you're going to take the gaze towards the back of the room or the back of the mat, arching into the upper back. Keeping the hands pressing into the earth and making sure that the head is drawing out of the shoulders here. Staying for your exhalation, and then inhaling, coming back to center, and then taking a forward fold on your next exhalation. So reaching the fingertips forward, forehead and nose to the mat. Finding your complete breath. How are you breathing? With each exhalation, can you relax a little more into this asana? And then from here, you can begin to walk the fingers, the hands forward to find a stretch through the shoulders, beginning to open up a little more. And then taking the hands to one side of the mat, walking the hands over to begin to stretch through the side body. So if you've taken your arms to the right, you'll feel this through the left side body and vice versa. Staying for your next exhalation. And then when you're ready to inhale, walking the hands to the opposite corner of the mat. And feeling that stretch through the opposite side of the body. On your next inhalation, walking the hands back to center. And then from here, just bringing your awareness to the base of your spine. You're going to ground through your seat bones and inhale, rolling gently up the spine, vertebrae by vertebrae, letting the hands drag towards the body as you bring the torso up. Going as slow as you can, really relaxing everything until it's its turn to rise. The head and the neck, the last body parts to come up, and then as you exhale, releasing the shoulders back and down away from the ears. Inhaling, coming forward into a tabletop position, so grounding the hands beneath the shoulders and the knees beneath the hips, untucking the toes here. And just finding your breath for a moment as you get stable in this position. As you exhale, extending the right foot to the back of the mat and really breathe into this asana, stretching the heel towards the back of the mat as well to begin to feel a stretch through the back of the leg. And then inhaling, taking the knee back to the earth, switching the legs over, exhaling, stretching the left heel towards the back of the mat. You can have your gaze forward here, or even close down the eyes to really feel into this stretch. And then inhaling, dropping the knee back to the earth. We're going to do this 2 more times on either leg, so extending the right leg back, exhaling, pressing the heel towards the back of the mat. Inhaling, lowering the knee, switching the legs over. Inhaling, final round on either leg. Inhaling, switching the leg over, last time on the left leg here. And then from this position, tucking the toes, taking the seat bones back to the heels on the exhalation. Maybe walk the hands forward a little, making sure that the hands are shoulder distance wide or perhaps slightly more. Really grounding the index finger and thumbs into the earth. And then on your next exhalation, you're going to press into the earth with the palms of the hands and the tops of the toes. Lift the seat bones to the sky. Find your first downward facing dog for today. From here, the feet are hip distance wide. You can pedal out the heels to begin to loosen up a little more through the hamstrings. And then while you're doing this movement, finding the position in the asana, so pressing into the hands, moving the chest towards the earth, really opening through the shoulders, seat bones towards the back of the sky, or the back of the mat rather. Really finding your complete breath here with each exhalation. Can you move the chest a little closer towards the earth? If you're pedaling out the heels, finding stillness here, and then you can maintain a slight bend in the knees, or if you feel you have more space to work with, you can work the legs towards straight, maybe even the heels touch on the mat. Exhaling, moving the chest towards the earth. Inhaling, coming up onto the toes, stepping your right foot forward, coming into a forward lunge, and then exhaling, lowering the left knee to the earth, untucking the back toes. From here, with your next exhalation, can you sink the hips closer towards the earth, really beginning to feel a stretch through the left front of the hip here. Once again, you can close down the eyes and really feeling into this stretch. And then exhaling, pushing towards the earth. Inhaling, bringing your hips back over your left knee. You're going to extend into the front leg. And from here, you can keep the foot grounded in the against the earth, or if you feel you have more space to work with, you can flex the toes towards the face, rolling over the heel, deepening that stretch through the back of the leg. If this isn't quite accessible to you yet, you can just roll the foot up and down, touching the mat, and then a little closer towards the face, just easing into the depth of this stretch. And then inhaling, holding. Exhaling, grounding the foot, bending into the knee, pressing the hips towards the earth. Staying for one more breath, really feeling into this asana. And then inhaling, bringing the hips back for the last time, extending into the front leg, taking the same variation with the foot, or perhaps deepening the stretch. Staying for one final breath. And as you exhale, grounding the foot to the earth, stacking the front knee over the front ankle. And from here, you're going to ground your left hand into the mat. And as you inhale, take your right fingertips towards the sky, moving into an easy twist position, keeping the back knee grounded, reaching the right fingertips towards the sky, drawing the right shoulder blade down the back towards the earth to really open through the shoulders here, and pressing into the mat with that left hand so that you're drawing the front body out of the left shoulder. Inhaling, can you open a little more? Exhaling, bringing the right hand back to the earth. Inhaling, swiveling on the back knee, extending into the right leg, facing the toes towards the camera. And then from here, as you inhale, reaching the fingertips towards the sky, exhaling, grounding the left hand and extending the right fingers to the left side of the mat. Pressing the hips forward here and really drawing that right shoulder blade down the back towards the earth to open through the chest once again. Finding your breath, maybe closing down the eyes, really connecting here, feeling into this stretch. Staying for one final exhalation. And then when you're ready to inhale, taking the right fingertips towards the sky, bringing your awareness to your abdominals, engaging them as you draw the torso up, arms in one strong line. Exhaling, taking this in the opposite direction, right hand to right knee, and then left fingertips overhead towards the right side of the mat. Here you might stay for a couple of breaths, and then with each exhalation, finding more space in the body, you might move the right hand down the right leg, deepening into this side bend. And then exhaling, preparing to complete here, finding your maximum stretch. Inhaling, taking the left fingertips to the sky, bringing the torso up. Exhaling, grounding the hands, switching the legs over, extending the left leg, foot facing towards the camera here. And then inhaling, arms out wide, reaching the fingers up overhead. And then exhaling, grounding the right hand, left fingertips towards the right side of the mat. Pressing the hips forward here, drawing the left shoulder blade down the back towards the earth to open through the chest. Staying for one final exhalation, and then inhaling, taking the left fingers to the sky, bringing your awareness to your abdominals, engaging those, bringing the torso up, switching the hands over, taking the left hand to the left leg, right fingertips to the left side of the body or the mat. With each exhalation, can you find a little more space, moving into this side bend a little more? And then preparing to complete on your next outward breath. Inhaling, right fingertips to the sky, bring the torso back up, and then from here you're going to bend into your left knee, turn your body to come into this modified forward lunge, so swiveling on your back leg once again, grounding the left foot into the mat, untucking the back toes, and then pressing the right palm into the earth. We're going to take our easy twist once again, so reaching the left fingertips to the sky, turning the torso so that the gaze comes to look towards those left fingers. Really drawing the left shoulder blade down the back towards the earth, pressing into the mat with the right palm to draw the body out of that right shoulder. Can you open a little more with each inhalation? And then when you're ready to exhale, grounding the left palm into the earth, sinking the hips towards the mat. Really beginning to feel the stretch through the right front of the hip. And closing down the eyes, feeling into this pose. Staying for one more exhalation. Inhaling, taking the hips over that right knee, stretching into the front leg, and then once again taking the same variation you took on the other side, so keeping the sole of the foot grounded into the earth, or you can flex the toes towards the face, rolling over the heel to deepen the stretch. And then exhaling, grounding the foot, sinking the hips towards the earth. Staying for one final exhalation. Inhaling, coming back with the hips, extending into the front leg for the final time here. Really making the most of the opportunity here to stretch your body. And then exhaling, grounding into that front foot. From here, you're going to place both hands on the earth if you were up on your fingertips. Tuck the back toes, extend the back leg to bring the knee off the earth, and then as you exhale, step your left foot to the back of the mat, coming back into downward facing dog, feet hip distance wide here, pressing into the mat through the palms of the hands, and once again you can pedal out the feet, just loosening up a little more here. And then while you're taking these movements, with each exhalation, can you press the chest a little closer towards the mat and take the seat bones towards the sky or the back of the mat. When you're ready, finding stillness, working the legs towards straight or maintaining a slight bend in the knees. Perhaps your heels touch on the earth. Maybe not. That's okay. Our bodies change in each and every moment and each and every day, and we simply have to learn to love and appreciate what is, not what we want to be. Not judging ourselves, just feeling into the moment. Exhaling, can you press the chest towards the earth a little more, and then inhaling, coming up onto the toes and grounding the knees. Finding your tabletop position once again. From here, we're going to take some stretches through the shoulders. So here, grounding your right hand into the mat. You're going to take your left hand behind your right, threading a needle, extending the fingertips to the right side of the room, perhaps coming up onto your right fingertips here to help yourself find a little leverage, grounding the left shoulder blade here, and then bringing your awareness to where your hips are in space. Maybe they've moved with your body, just bring them back to center. And then as you find yourself in this position, just work on moving your right shoulder back and your left shoulder forward to open the chest a little more. Finding your complete breath. How are you breathing? And then from here, preparing to complete exhaling, finding your depth or your maximum. And then inhaling, just grounding the hand into the earth, using it to assist your body to come back up into your tabletop position. And then switching this to the opposite direction. So threading your right hand behind your left, coming down with the shoulder, right ear to the mat, bringing your hips back to square, using your left hand to open the chest, and then bring your awareness to your breath. Really breathe here with each exhalation. Can you open a little more, finding a little more depth in the stretch? And then completing this pose on your next exhalation. Inhaling, grounding the hand into the mat, gently coming back up with the torso. And then from here, you can keep your knees together, feet together, and take your balasana child's pose by taking the hands to the back of the mat, forehead and nose to the earth, relaxing the shoulders by taking the palms facing up to the sky. Or if you prefer, you can take the knees mat distance wide and slide the hands forward and allow the forehead and nose to meet the earth. This is up to you, taking whichever variation feels best today. And then we stay here for a few breaths, letting the body relax and connecting with your breath. Staying for one more exhalation. And when you're ready to inhale, once again grounding the seat bones into the heels, rolling up the spine really slowly. Can you go slower than you did the first time? Stacking each vertebrae on top of one another as you come up, letting the hands drag towards the body. Losing my headphones here. And then bringing the head and neck up, rolling the shoulders back and down away from the ears on the exhalation. From here, just using your hands to assist yourself to come to a seat and then extending the legs forward. Reaching the toes towards the top of the mat. You can ground your hands either side of your seat bones and just lift your hips for a moment. Send the seat bones to the back of the mat, and then this will help you find a tilt in your pelvis and find more depth in this forward fold that we're about to move into. So inhaling, taking the fingertips towards the sky, reaching up through the crown of the head. Exhaling, folding forward from the pelvis. Your hands might land on your shins, they might land on your ankles or your feet. Just working with your own body here, remembering not to exceed your limits. With each exhalation, can you take the torso a little closer towards the thighs? To do this, keeping your gaze on your toes will help you to find more stretch and think forward, not downwards to begin with. If your belly meets your thighs, then perhaps you can begin to take the forehead towards the knees. So in this case, then you can turn your gaze towards your legs. And if you feel you have the space with each exhalation, slowly bring the forehead towards the knees. Working with your own body, so if you don't feel you have the depth today, that's absolutely fine. Just stay where you are. Connecting with your breath, really exhaling, sending that outward breath, that energy towards any areas still holding any tension in your body, and just asking them to release a little more. Staying for one more exhalation. And when you're ready to inhale, just releasing the hands and once again rolling up with the torso, stacking vertebrae on top of vertebrae, bringing the head and neck up, the shoulders back and down away from the ears. From here, we're going to move into our final pose today. So just sliding the legs forward, coming to lay down on your back. There's two options here. So you can finish today by taking the feet mat distance wide, knocking the knees together, tucking the tailbone, and just resting the hands on the belly. Or if you prefer, you can take Shavasana by extending the legs, having the feet a little wider than hip distance, and letting them fall naturally towards the earth. In this pose, we also tuck our tailbone to flatten the lower back on the earth. Draw the shoulder blades together, grounding them into the mat, and then tuck the chin to lengthen the back of the neck. In whichever variation you've taken today, just bringing your awareness to your breath, noticing how it's traveling into your lungs and how it's leaving your lungs. Perhaps it's different to when you begun the practice today. And then to close down our practice and release ourselves into our final resting pose, we're going to take 3 cleansing breaths. So inhaling through the nose and exhaling through the mouth. Here we go. Inhaling through the nose. Exhaling through the mouth. Relaxing our body into the earth. Inhaling through the nose. Exhaling through the mouth. Releasing any final tension. Inhaling through the nose. Exhaling through the mouth. Letting go of any final breath control and finding your final resting pose. And then just gently bringing your awareness to notice any sounds that might surround you, perhaps in the distance or closer by. Noticing the breath, the prana, the energy as it enters your lungs, nourishing your body. And as it leaves your lungs, as an offering back to the earth. Bringing small movements to the fingers and the toes. Tasting the inside of your mouth. And then moving into larger body movements. Extending the arms overhead like you're waking up for the first time today. Taking a nice stretch here. And when you're ready, rolling onto your side. And making your way up into a seated position. Cross-legged on the mat. Getting nice and comfy here, growing tall through the crown of the head, bringing the hands together at heart center in Anjali Mudra. Taking your chin to your chest, closing down the eyes and finding a moment to acknowledge your efforts for showing up on your mat today, connecting with your body, your breath, and quietening your mind. Inhaling through the nose, Exhaling through the mouth. Closing down our practice, we greet each other with the word Namaste. Thanks everyone for joining me today. I hope you enjoyed the practice. If you would like to follow me on Facebook or Instagram, I put up regular yoga schedule updates and also a link to my website, and you can book into my live classes there. If you have any feedback you'd like to provide, I'm always appreciating feedback, whether that's something that you loved about the class or something you'd like to see for next time. Please get in touch. And I hope to see you on the mat next time. Thanks, guys.